Hi, welcome to Give Me the Bible, where God's Word speaks for itself. In this video, I want to share a concern that I have that's based on a conversation I recently had with a lady. She said that when she reads the Bible, she really just reads it to kind of get whatever message of comfort or hope or peace that she needs in the moment. But as far as actually digging in, studying the Bible, like the historical context and kind of applying principles of interpretation to really get into the language and what it means and what it meant to the original audience. She said, quote, that she just wants to leave that to the experts. I really want to caution you against this attitude. This is not a biblical attitude at all. Look in Acts chapter 17 and verse 11. These are Christians in the city of Berea, and these are not experts at all. Yet Paul, who is an expert, comes to teach them about Jesus Christ. But look what they do. In Acts 17 verse 11, these were more noble-minded than those in Thessalonica, for they received the word with great eagerness, examining the scriptures daily to see whether these things were so. These Christians didn't sit back and say, well, Paul's an expert, and so we're just going to take his word for it. No, they actually went and dug into the scriptures to find out the meaning for themselves and to see if it really matched up with what Paul was saying. And that's what we need. That's what we always need to be doing as Christians. Look in Ephesians chapter 4. I think there's this mindset in our society today that maybe common man, we just can't understand the Bible. The Bible's just too hard, and it's kind of pointless to try. But God didn't write the Bible to confuse us. Look in Ephesians chapter 3. Paul speaking to the brethren there in Ephesus, and he says, let's see, he says in verse 4, Ephesians 3 verse 4, by referring to this, when you read, you can understand my insight into the mystery of Christ. So actually I meant to start in verse 3 there. He says, by revelation there was made known to me the mystery as I wrote before in brief. So he says, I wrote to you, and when I write to you, you can understand the mysteries of the revelation of Jesus Christ. In particular, he's talking about the mystery that the gospel is available to the Gentiles now. But the point is, Paul doesn't say, hey, listen, you know, the letters that I wrote to you, you're going to have to really bring in a bunch of experts, and they're going to have been PhD students in the top theological school so that they can really understand what I'm saying to you. You need to really be careful with that kind of mindset. As Christians, God's word is communicated to us. Yes, the hard part is that it's not communicated directly to us. It's communicated first to the people back then and only to us by extension. So there is going to be some work involved to dig out the meaning of the text back in its original context before we can know how it applies to us. But let's not leave that to the experts, okay? Let's not do that. Let's work to dig out the meaning of God's word for ourselves. Because, hey, how do we know if what the experts are saying is true? How do you know if what your preacher is saying is true? How do you know, Catholics, if what the Pope is saying is true? Or the fathers, or the reverends, or whoever you view as the experts out there. How do you know what they're saying is true? Just because they say it doesn't mean it's so. The way that we know it's true is it really what the Bible teaches? And if we don't know what the Bible teaches, we're just going to be tossed to and fro. In fact, God does give us teachers to help us be solid in God's word. Later in Ephesians 4, he does say in verse 11, he gave some as apostles and prophets and evangelists and pastors and teachers. And he says in verse 14, as a result, we are no longer to be children, tossed here and there by waves and carried about by every wind of doctrine, by the trickery of men, by craftiness and deceitful scheming. So God did give us teachers who could devote their lives to studying the Bible. And listen, a lot of us just have secular jobs and we're not able to just study the Bible all day. I get that. There are people who can do that, and they probably have more credibility than we do in their Bible study. But the point is, we cannot, as Christians, be lazy and just put that off on the experts and let them figure out God's word for us. That is so, so very dangerous. And I think that's a result of, or that's one of the causes, really, of all the different denominations that we have today. All these people just kind of following the traditions of their families, and they don't really know why they believe what they believe. They're just kind of going with emotions and leaving it all to the experts. Don't be like that. And I hope that these YouTube videos are helping you to learn to study the Bible for yourself, to not even listen to me and my interpretation. I want to teach you how to just interpret the Bible for yourself by teaching you these objective principles of interpretation. And so I hope that that is helpful, and that you'll not fall into this trap of leaving it to the experts. And Lord willing, I'll see you in the next video.